As a preliminary matter, this is Larry Murphy, Chair of the Newbury Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Planning Board members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Peter Pecos,
Yes.
Woody Knight,
Yes.
Mary Stone,
Yes.
Scott Kinter,
Yes.
and Steve Mangione.
Yes.
Steve, and welcome to your first regular meeting as our newest associate member. For town staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Martha Taylor, Planning Director,
Yes.
and Kristen Grubbs, Assistant Town Planner.
Yes.
And for anticipated speakers and presenters on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. Michael McNiv.
This is Bob Griffin. Mike's not here yet, but he is expected and he knows about the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And Tom Woodruff. I don't see Tom with us yet, but
Yeah, he's not here yet, but he's expected.
okay. This February 7th, 2024 open meeting of the Newbury Planning Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, which extends the Governor's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until March 31, 2025. This order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location and allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Newbury Planning Board is convened by video conference via Zoom as posted on the Planning Board's agenda, which can be found on the town's website, which identifies how the public may join. You may join us by going to http://zoom.us and entering meeting ID number 832-7141-3056, passcode 108790, or by calling 1-929-205-6099 and entering the meeting number and passcode when prompted. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that attendees are participating by video and/or telephone conference. The meeting is also being broadcast live through local access cable channel 9 on Zoom, and the recording will be available on the Newbury Access YouTube channel. Meeting materials were provided to the board members prior to the meeting for review. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak, and if needed, share information to the screen. Please state your intention after you've been called. Before we turn to the first item on the agenda, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. As chair, I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After speakers conclude their remarks, I will go down the list of board members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, for all attendees except board members and staff, please remember to mute your computer using your mute button or on your phone by hitting *6 to toggle mute or unmute when you are not speaking. Please use earbuds or earphones with tablets and cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Please be aware that video participants can see you and that you should take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If board members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through me, taking care to identify yourself when you wish to speak. There will be an opportunity for public comment and questions during public hearings. After board members have spoken, I will afford the public an opportunity to comment and/or ask questions as follows. I will see questions and comments through the Zoom raised hand function. For video conference participants to raise your hand, hover over the bottom of the Zoom window below the photo gallery and click on the gray hand that appears. Please ensure your name is fully and correctly displayed on the participant list. You may rename yourself by using the More function next to your name. For telephone participants to raise your hand in a Zoom meeting, hit *9 on your phone keypad. I will then allow questions and comments from members of the public who have raised their hands in the order in which they are listed, which is determined by the order in which people click on the raised hand function. Each participant will be called on to provide his or her name and address and then ask a question or make a comment. I will afford the applicant, participant, or representative the opportunity to reply. Your hand will be lowered when you have been given the floor for your questions. I will then continue down the list of those in the raised hand column and again afford the participant, applicant, or representative an opportunity to speak. Should there be a physical or electronic submittal of questions or concerns, they will be noted for the record, and again, the participant, applicant, or representative will be afforded the opportunity to speak if the issues raised have not yet been addressed. And finally, please note that each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. So it's a little early. We can't get into our public hearings just yet. So let me turn to the rest of the agenda for now. And the first item after the opening is the January 2024 financial report, which I will now read into the record. So the following payroll warrants for the planning director and assistant planner were approved. PR 24-14 for the pay period ending 12/30/23. PR 24-15 for the pay period ending 1/13/24. And PR 24-16 for the pay period ending 1/27/24. For planning board expense invoices for the Verizon Wireless, the planning board iPad 1/24/24, and Kristen Grubbs employee reimbursement 1/30/24. So the next item is the liaison and select board and excuse me, in meeting reports. Martha, the select board is the first item on there. Do you have anything?
I do. So the select board met on the 23rd of January, and the two items that were specifically of interest to us, they did vote to refer the proposed zoning amendments for the MBTA communities and wireless communications back to the planning board for public hearing, and the hearing is set for February 21st. The first ad appeared in the paper last Monday. They also did vote to appoint Steve as the planning board's associate member through June 30th of this year. A few other things that are not really planning board specific, but they did vote to adopt a policy regarding rodenticides to basically prohibit second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, and they adopted a town flag policy and approved some personnel policy updates.
Okay, thank you, Martha.
Welcome.
Next for the ZBA, I don't have a lot to report. I frankly missed the January meeting, but I understand that they finalized the decision on the Sunset Club special permit amendment. And their next meeting is on the 15th of February. And I don't have any information yet on what might be on the agenda for that day.
Yeah, I
So
think
that's all I
there
have.
are two things actually on the agenda for that day, if I'm not mistaken. One is an appeal of our building commissioner's enforcement order regarding, excuse me, sorry, 80 Northern Boulevard, and the other one is for an application for 8 and 10 Fordham. Mark
Thank you,
Ritchie.
Martha. Okay, conservation. Woody, do you have anything?
Yes, conservation met last night. 3 of the 4 public hearings were continued for the applicant. The only thing that on there that really pertained to us was for the certificate of compliance for the walkway to the Science Center at Governor Dummer, and we voted to say that they're in compliance, so they're all set with that. And that was it.
Thanks, Woody. And Martha, back to you for MVPC.
So in MVPC, there was no January commissioners meeting, but we did have a planners meeting on the 25th, which featured a guest speaker, Noah Berger, who's the CEO of MEVA, which used to be MVRTA, talking about transit service. And people were particularly interested in talking about how that might relate to the MBTA, proposed MBTA districts within their communities. The next commissioners meeting will be on February 15th, and I think that's when the budget, MVPC budget for fiscal 25 will be approved, and they'll vote on the annual assessments for each of the member communities.
Okay, thank you, Martha. We still got 5 minutes to go before we can open the public hearings. I don't know, maybe we can look at the minute. It's at the end of the agenda, but everyone has been sent copies of the draft minutes for January 3rd, January 17th, and February 1st. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those?
Yes.
Good. Let's start with January 3rd. Does anyone have any comments, requests, issues, requests for changes? All right, I'm hearing nothing. Would anyone care to approve the minutes for January 3rd, 2024 as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? And hearing none, Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
yes,
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. On the January 17th minutes, would anyone care to move to approve those as presented?
So moved.
I'm sorry, who I?
That was
didn't hear.
Pete.
Pete, oh, thank you, Pete. Is there a second?
Second.
Mary, thank you. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, then Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
yes,
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And lastly, the February 1st, 2024 meeting minutes. Would anyone care to move to approve those as presented?
so moved,
Thank you, Woody. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Scott. Any discussion? And hearing none, Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
yes,
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott, how do you vote? And I vote yes as well, so it's unanimous. So all 3 minutes for January 3rd, 7th, and 17th, and February 1 have been approved. And we still have 3 minutes to go before our public hearings. I don't think there's really anything else we have time to get into for the next 3 minutes. So I'll just be patient. We'll get to them as soon as we can.
I could possibly do the planning director's report in 3 minutes,
Can you? All right.
maybe.
Okay, go
Be
for it.
short.
Knock yourself out, Martha.
So, yeah, get the hook and pull me off if I go over. So we do have some ongoing stormwater issues at 68 Green Street, which we're trying to get sorted out, so. Ponding, I think I might have mentioned this previously, but some serious ponding down at the end of the roadway, where it intersects with Green Street, so. The engineer and Joe Sirwatka, and we'll probably get James out there since it's in the town's right of way. But, you know, just kind of an update on where things stand there. The golf center closeout is actually still going on as well. We just received an email from Eric Sorensen today regarding some things that Conservation Commission still needed in order to you know, issue a certificate of compliance on that. And I think also there's still an enforcement order which needs to be dealt with, I believe. We're continuing to work on the hazard mitigation plan. Kristen and I have been working on that, and we'll be meeting with town staff next week to try to fill in some gaps on information that we've provided so far. There's going to be one more module kind of pulling the whole thing together. Anticipation is still that it will be done by the end of the fiscal year. And Kayla has emailed us for a follow-up on the housing production plan and next steps for that, including some mapping. So we'll probably circle back with you all about that as well. So I think that was my 2 minutes.
Yeah, we got a minute to spare. No, thanks, Martha.
I think well, if there's a little more time, we did have a second open space committee meeting yesterday with some folks who are interested in joining the committee and starting to talk about updating the town's open space and recreation plan.
All right, thank you. We
Thanks, Martha.
be less than a minute to go here. Oh, it's 7:15 now. So we have on the agenda two concurrent public hearings for 170 Orchard Street, map R20 lot 43A. These, of course, are continuances we've seen several times in the past. The owner applicant is the estate of Louis Bulgaris, care of Diane Yurkovich. And again, these were both last continued from January 17th. There's the definitive subdivision plan application for Fields Way, 170 Orchard Street, and the common driveway special permit application for a common driveway to serve two lots in the proposed Fields Way subdivision at 170 Orchard Street. So I'm going to open both the subdivision and common driveway special permit hearings. And just a reminder, these have a long, complicated history, but on the subdivision application, the only members eligible to vote on this are myself, Pete, and Woody. And as to the common driveway special permit, the only members eligible to vote on this are myself, Pete, Woody, and Mary. But Scott and Steve, you're both welcome to join in the discussions. You just won't be able to vote. Now, the applicant has provided us an extension of time for the subdivision application to the end of the month, February 28th. And just to recap, the last meeting, the board reviewed drafts of both the subdivision decision and the common driveway decision. In revived drafts, we do have revived drafts tonight, and we'll be reviewing those. Before we get into that, let me just ask the board members, do you have any comments or questions at this stage before we go forward? No? Okay. Hearing nothing. So let's take up the subdivision first. Martha, maybe you can put the revised decision up on the board, up on the screen rather. And we've been through this decision a couple of times at least. So if you could maybe just highlight any changes from our January meeting.
Sure. So I think this has been sent out to you all, and the major changes were highlighted. And I'll just scroll down here to get to those. All the previous red lines are still here, just so we can kind of see where everything is. But in going down under procedural history, there were a couple of things that I thought we should actually add. One is because this is required under our subdivision rules and regs, just noting the distribution of the application to various town staff and to our review engineer, just to note that that was done. And then also under number 6, to highlight that the board has been granted extensions of time for action on the subdivision plan 4 times. And I noted those dates: August 1st, September 20th, October 29th, and February 28th. Going down a little further, the other major changes were in condition G about parcel A, and these came from Vanessa Johnson at Essex County Greenbelt, who is now the point person for this project. And she noted in an email that there were some things that are required by Essex County Greenbelt in order for them to accept the parcel. And a couple of them relate to things that we talked about last time, in particular, the timing of the conveyance, and also making sure that the fields, the agricultural fields, are actually accessible during construction. So the provisions here, first of all, I added, and I didn't highlight that, a little farther up in point 1 here, that it be conveyed to a Massachusetts-based nonprofit land conservation organization. And then I broke this down into several numbered paragraphs. So the second one is the timing of conveyance. Parcel A shall be conveyed to the nonprofit land conservation organization prior to issuance of the first certificate of occupancy. Second, Essex County Greenbelt wants the boundaries to be marked, permanently monumented with iron rebar or similarly durable physical marker. And the points of the drainage, there's one drainage easement that comes down into parcel A, and they would like the points of that drainage easement where it intersects with parcel A also to be monumented with permanent boundary markers. The next one has to do with access during construction. Adequate access to the agricultural fields in parcel A shall be provided at all times during any construction period that intersects with the growing season, so that the fields can remain maintained and or productively used for agricultural purposes. And the last one regards a homebuyer's acknowledgement of active agricultural and recreational property, that any documentation or notice provided to homebuyers regarding the homebuyer's acknowledgement of the active agricultural use and potential future passive recreational use on parcel A shall be provided to the nonprofit land conservation organization for review and approval. Going down to J, we had mentioned or confirmed last time with Michael that fencing shall be installed between the roadway and 168 Orchard Street as agreed between the applicant and the owner of 168 Orchard Street and as approved by the board. Although subsequently there's a question, and Bob, I don't know if you can answer this. I just wanted to confirm that it's actually between the roadway and 168 Orchard and not between the back of 168 Orchard and the property. So between 168 Orchard and Lot 1.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't have the answer to that last question on the screening, but hopefully Mike will be here in a few minutes and he can answer that. If we could go back up to the marking of the corners, the boundary markers, I would, parcel A goes way off, away from the cul-de-sac, and the property is pretty well bounded by stone walls around its entire perimeter. But I don't want to be trying to drive iron rebar in the middle of stone walls, as these bearings move a little bit as you go around the property. So if we could add the words after iron rebar, it would say comma, existing stone walls, comma, or similarly durable physical markers. Certainly the new parcel A boundary, is sort of straight lines near the cul-de-sac, and we can mark all those with iron rebar. That's easy enough, but I don't want, the parcel A goes very far back, and as I say, I think it's pretty well clearly marked right now. There you go.
All right, yeah, I guess the only, since this was something that came from Essex County Greenbelt, that sounds reasonable to me, but we would want to make sure that that was acceptable to them.
Okay.
But I would guess that probably the areas of concern really are the boundaries of parcel A, next to the subdivision would be my guess.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Martha, is this something you think we need to run by Greenbelt?
I'd like to.
Okay. I mean, the only reason I asked that question is that I had anticipated taking a vote to approve this tonight, but if we need some further input from Greenbelt, then that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's some way to do it contingent. We could contact Vanessa immediately, right away tomorrow.
Pending approval? I'm sorry, Larry, wording of pending approval by, final approval by Greenbelt?
Yeah, I don't know if that would work. I mean, I agree with Martha. It seems like a reasonable request. Well, we're probably not going to, I don't want to get ahead of us, but we're still waiting for a review of some of the common driveway special permit documents by town council. So we're probably not going to be able to take a vote on that tonight. So maybe we'll just, and I'm sorry, I'd like to wrap this up for you, Bob, as soon as we can, but we're probably going to have you back one more time anyway. So maybe we can, well, let me, maybe we can hold off on taking a vote then on the subdivision approval. Let me ask the members if they have any questions or thoughts about any of this. Pete, do you have anything?
Let's see if there's anything else, then I always say circle back to this.
Okay, I think that was pretty much it, wasn't it, Martha?
I think so. The only other question I had for Bob and Michael is at the very end, and this is administrative. We always identify somebody to whom the findings and decisions should be mailed to, and I don't know if that's Michael or Bob or somebody else.
The applicant.
I think Bob is the representative.
Okay, then.
Bob, can I ask a question about the boundaries? Just, I don't have the plan in front of me, but does the stone wall go to all the corners? The far back corners?
I could try to pull up the plan if that would help, unless you have it handy, Bob.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think you're muted, Bob. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I was gonna share my screen. I could show you the plan, I think.
Shall I stop sharing?
Oh,
Yeah,
if you want to see the plan,
back
yeah,
up. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
okay. Let's see.
I think the concern of the land trust is that they will be monitoring the entire property boundaries. So it is, relative to the other abutters, not just the abutters in the subdivision. But I would tend to think if the corners are clearly marked and then the lines are, follow the stone wall, that would be sufficient for their monitoring purposes. That's just my experience in terms of stewardship of conservation land.
All right, so actually, we don't have, like you can see on this western line here, I'll zoom in a little bit. We have a stone wall across most of it, and then we get to this corner, there is no stone wall. We come up here, and here's a corner that's in the middle of a wetland. So, the language sounds simple, but, given that we have, corners that are in wetlands, we have a stone wall across most of it here, and I'll go to the next sheet. This is C, let me just check, make sure I got this right. C4. So we're getting out into the northern end, the far end, stone walls across there, stone walls across there, stone walls. But sometimes, sometimes these are bends in the stone wall as sharp corners. And we put a straight line at it mathematically, but it's, it's hard to find these corners sometimes. Sorry about that train noise. Here's the very far end of the site, and this is all stone walls all around there. So I think the stone walls do a very good job of describing parcel A. Let's go back to the cul-de-sac area. This is the line between lot 4, if you can follow my cursor there. And we're happy to mark that with iron rods. So I think I counted 9 points before. That's pretty easy. And I'll zoom in here. This drainage easement that they're talking about is this little, protrusion into parcel A here. And this we can mark with iron rods as well. So I think we can give them I think that's really what they probably intend. But if I had to go out and start banging rebar into the stone wall, this would be a tremendous amount of work, and it really wasn't something we contemplated.
No, that seems reasonable. I just got a message from the chair. Unfortunately, he has lost connection and is trying to get back.
Okay.
I'm back, Martha, thanks.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but I lost about 30 seconds there, so.
Oh, not much. Yeah, Bob was just pointing out the areas that don't have any stone wall.
Okay.
And I wonder if there's some language we could put in there. And it sounds reasonable to me, but I wonder if there's
Well,
some.
you know what? I'm sorry, Martha, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I think if the members are comfortable with it, we can take a vote on this and then just not close the public hearing. And does that make sense?
Yes. Pete? Oh, sorry, Larry, can I ask Pete?
You certainly
Yeah.
can.
So,
Pete, you seem perplexed. What
oh,
do you
no,
have?
no, no. I mean, if we're gonna, there's also the piece about the fence, but do you want to vote on it before closing the hearing on this piece?
Well, all I'm saying is if the decision is in the form that everyone is comfortable with, other than getting the okay on this very minor change from Greenbelt, then we could take a vote on it and approve it as drafted. But as long as we don't close the public hearing, if we should get some negative feedback from Greenbelt, then I think we could still
Gotcha.
address it.
Come
Or
on.
Martha, what do you think? Would it just be cleaner to continue it along with the special permit?
I'm trying to think it through a little further. I mean, their requirement was with iron rebar or similarly durable physical marker. The stone walls are, that is a physical marker. And where the stone wall is actually coterminous with the boundaries, which it seems to be, then maybe this is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Just kind of thinking out loud here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense as well.
Yeah,
So then,
Well,
Larry, I think the only other piece then, if we're comfortable with that, is just the definition of this fence, just so everybody, understands that. And I don't know if we have that answer right now.
And we need Michael for that, apparently.
Yeah, I can try to reach him by phone because I'm a little surprised he's not here, so something must have come up, but.
I'll tell you what, why don't we put this on hold then and move on
All
to the looking at the draft of the special permit, Martha?
Okay.
Unless, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep jumping around on you, but do any of the other members have any questions on the subdivision decision at this point? Doesn't sound like it. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
My only comment would be, I think, you'd want to close the hearing and then vote. So it might be cleaner, Larry, to, if we got some other things we need to clean up, get it done in the next couple of weeks and, push it to the next meeting and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, we do often vote before we close the public hearing, just in case additional information comes in, but your point is well taken.
So
Let's,
the only concern is if we do continue it to the 21st, we'll have to make sure that it's voted, everybody signs it because it needs to be, filed with the clerk on the
By the
20th
20th.
at the latest. Which is. Yeah, so that'll be the Wednesday after our next meeting. So it's probably doable. We'll just have to make sure that
everybody
everybody,
gets in to sign it after the 21st.
right.
Yeah, the 21st looks like it's gonna be a busy night, so. But. Why don't you go ahead and pull up the decision on the common driveway, Martha?
Okay. So are you all able to see that?
I have it.
Okay. So I think we went through this the last time, and as I recall, well, I had one question here on number 2, which said the applicant was represented by Bob Griffin on whether we should add Michael McNiff there or not. I know, Bob, again, I think you were the listed representative, so maybe this is fine.
Okay.
But, I guess I would leave that to you and Michael. Otherwise, the only item that there was really any discussion about was the condition regarding certificate of occupancy, which, previously said the special permit decision and plans were properly recorded, and evidence of recording was provided to the planning director and the building commissioner, which didn't actually make a lot of sense and was kind of contradictory to something earlier. So we talked about tying that certificate of occupancy to getting the binder course down on the driveway and getting that reviewed and approved by our engineer. So that was the only change. The only other thing, and I bring this up only because the police chief under construction hours had suggested for another project that it would be desirable for Saturday construction to start at 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock in the morning, because that's often an area where they get a lot of complaints from people. So I put that in there to see what the board and what the applicant might think about making that change. And then there would have to be, if everybody is in agreement with that, then this sentence would also need to be changed to represent 8 o'clock start on Saturdays.
Bob, do you have any issues with any of these suggested changes?
I mean, I know the construction guys like to start at 7, but if it's, you know, whatever standard in town, we'll go along with.
Let me turn to the board members. Pete, do you have anything?
No.
Woody,
No, I do not.
Mary, do you have any
No,
questions?
I don't, actually.
And Scott, do you have anything?
No, other than, I would support the 8 o'clock start. It's, you know, years ago, I think 7 o'clock was the time, but, Bob, I think the new time's 8 these days, so I don't think it's a big deal there.
I'm getting old.
Exactly.
Steve? No. Steve, you have any thoughts?
No, I do not.
Okay, thanks. So we're waiting for, on this, town council is reviewing the draft deeds for lot 3 and 4, correct me if I'm wrong, Martha, and the common driveway agreement. They're still being reviewed by town council, correct?
That's correct. And I did reach out, but I have not heard back yet on where
Okay,
that stands.
all right. So, oh, and how about, do we have any members of the public who would like to be heard on either of these? No hands up?
I'm not seeing any hands up. I will put this down just to see. No,
How about written comments since our last meeting, Martha, anything?
none. The only phone call I've gotten related to this was from Peter Mack, the abutter at 168 Orchard, who, you know, wants to make sure that in the easement agreement that they have no responsibility for the maintenance of the roadway, and that's one of the documents that still needs to be reviewed and sorted out, but that's not a requirement for this prior to approval of the decision.
Okay, so just to recap, on the subdivision, well, we're gonna need a performance guarantee signed at the appropriate time. We need to work out the language regarding the boundary markers and also the question about the fence that was raised. And for the common driveway, town council is reviewing and approving, just reading my notes here, obviously, draft deeds of lots 3 and 4 and common driveway agreement, those are in process. In the HOA declaration of trust, et cetera, also in progress. And anything else we need from the applicants, Martha?
I don't think so at this time. Most of the other stuff is you know, tied to either building permit or not required in order to vote on the decisions.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, Bob, do you want to, I guess we can do one of two things at this point. I can ask for a motion to continue both of these public hearings until the 21st. Or if you want to wait for Michael, we can move on to other business and then come back to this. So it's your call.
Yeah, so I have sent him a text. I didn't get anything back. So let's continue to the 21st and hopefully it'll be a quick meeting. And I think it's a safe play at this point.
Okay, thanks. And before we do that, let me just go through the board members one more time. And Pete, anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
No. And Woody, anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Mary, same question.
All set, thanks, Larry.
And Scott
No, thank you. I'm good.
and Steve, anything further?
No, thank you.
And Martha, lastly, I'll ask you, we good to ask for a motion to continue this to the 21st at what, 7:15?
Yeah, I think so. So continue both hearings.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to do two motions because of the difference in who's eligible to vote. So first, I'd ask for a motion to continue the public hearing on the subdivision until our February 21st meeting at 7:15 PM via Zoom. Do I have a motion?
Sure thing.
Thank you, Pete. Woody, do I have a second?
Second,
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
yes,
And I vote yes as well. And as to the common driveway special permit, I'd ask for a motion to continue the public hearing until our February 21st, 2024 meeting via Zoom at 7:15 PM. And would anyone care to make that motion?
so moved.
Move,
Thank you, Woody. Is there a second?
second,
Thank you,
Second.
Mary. Any discussion? Then Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
Yes,
Mary, how do you vote?
yes,
And I vote yes as well. So we'll see you again, Bob, on the 21st and
Good, thank you
hopefully
all
we
very
get
much.
these things resolved.
thanks,
Good night.
Bob.
Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Governor's Academy. Do we have Tom Woodruff with us?
Yes,
Yes,
he's here.
Yeah,
And
and
Wendy
this is
is as well.
and Wendy Reed is also with us from Governors. This is a request for approval of the record plan and determination of completion of the project for the Alfond Coastal Research Center, ACRC, formerly Presby. And the record plan prepared by Meridian Engineering. And also another application for the pedestrian walkway from Middle Road to the ACRC. Again, this plan was prepared by Civil Works New England. I just note for the record that we did hold a site walk to view the building and site improvements, that is the planning board did, including the pedestrian walkway on January 24th. And Tom, if you could just present your request and give us a brief update of the project, including the status and et cetera.
Sure, thank you very much. Tom Woodruff, Director of Facilities at Governor's Academy. We are here to request a certificate, not a certificate of compliance, a closeout of the site plan review of the two aforementioned projects, the Parker River Environmental Science Building, or Alfond Coastal Research Center, as it's now called, and the pedestrian walkway and boardwalk connecting main campus to the Alfond Coastal Research Center. Both projects have been in service since the building has been in service since early the school year, and the walkway was completed in the beginning of October and has been used extensively by students to access the building. We've had both the design engineers submit as-built plans, and the town's engineer has visited both projects and submitted I think minor comments on both, mostly clerical details, and both engineers have addressed and responded to those comments. I think that's about it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Tom. And just know that we did have the site walk on the 24th, and it was quite an impressive building, I have to say. I was very impressed with it, as I think were the other members there. And Martha, as Tom said, Joe Sawetka has reviewed this and he's satisfied.
Yeah, he's reviewed both. There was one round of revisions and a response letter for the building as built, and the walkway he actually had no comments on, so he's satisfied with both. And Tom, I understand certificates of compliance have been issued by the conservation for both projects?
No, just for the building so far.
Okay, I thought the Concom voted on the walkway last night. Or am I mistaken on that one?
I was not in attendance if they did.
Yes.
We submitted the request, but we haven't had a response.
I was in the meeting last night, if I may, Larry. I was
Sure.
in the meeting last night and we voted, I'm looking at my notes now, we voted for a certificate of compliance for Governor Dummer walkway. That's what I wrote down here.
Great, sorry, we didn't attend. I didn't realize we were on the agenda.
Okay, you probably weren't, as you know, our conservation agent is part-time right now, so it may be that you just weren't notified. So I'm sorry about that.
Well, thank you, Woody. Sorry, we were not in attendance, but that's good news. So I guess both projects have received the certificate of compliance, so.
Okay, so the building is all set. That's the one I hadn't checked on. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Let me go through the board members. Pete, do you have any questions, comments?
No questions, beautiful, beautiful building, beautiful walkway.
Yeah. It is. Woody, same question. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not.
Mary?
Nope.
Scott, anything?
No questions. Thank you.
And Steve, do you have any questions or comments?
Ditto, no question. Ditto, no
Thank you.
questions.
Then I would ask for a motion to accept the as-built plan and determine that construction for the ACRC has been performed in substantial accordance with the approved site plan and approved modifications in all conditions of approval. Anyone care to make that motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Woody. Any discussion? And Pete, how do you vote?
Yes,
Woody, how do you vote?
yes.
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And as to the pedestrian walkway, I'd ask for a motion to accept the as-built plan and determine that construction has been performed in substantial compliance with the approved site plan and approved modifications in all conditions of approval. Anyone care to make that motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Woody. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. Any discussion? Then Pete, how do you vote?
yes,
Woody, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Scott, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So we're good to go. I think the only remaining piece of business, Tom and Wendy, is there are amounts held in escrow that'll can't be closed out until the final invoices for review and inspection have been received. That'll have to come back before the board, Martha, won't it?
Yes, it will. Yeah.
Unless, I mean, you're certainly welcome when we get it on the agenda, but unless there's some disagreement on the amounts, I don't know that you necessarily have to appear, Tom.
Okay.
You're certainly welcome. Very good. Well, congratulations. It's a great project and I know you're gonna get
Excellent.
many.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for the support. And if anybody who didn't make the site walk would like to see the building and or walkway at any point, please reach out to Wendy or I. It is a very cool, please, Mary, come on over. Very cool
I've
project.
been
and we're
putting it
proud of it.
off, but everyone's raving. Everyone's raving. Nice job.
Thank you.
I'll join you, Mary.
Great, Scott. That'll be fun.
It's worth it, believe me.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
definitely worth it.
It's a wow.
Yeah, no, it's a definite wow, and probably good to get there before the leaves come out on the trees, because you can really, see the river.
Yes, please reach out anytime and come on over. Love to show it.
Thanks, Tom.
And we can certainly, we can help coordinate that if you'd like, so. Whatever works best.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Good night.
Thank you. We'll look forward to the next one.
Yeah, us as
Right.
well. Thanks again for all your support. Have a nice evening.
So the only item on the agenda I haven't touched on is old business, which is none. So I guess we're good. Would anyone, any parting remarks before I ask for, I see Leslie Matthew has her hands up, Martha.
Hi, Larry. How you doing tonight?
Good, Leslie, who are you?
Good. Is everyone in, like, can anybody from the select board go and take a walk through this new building? I'm curious because I was there at the beginning and I would love to see what the outcome was.
Yeah, Tom and Wendy are gone. They've signed off, but my guess is that would be a definite yes. They're very happy with the building, and I think
Driving by and just watching, the growth throughout has been amazing. And I think that it's going to be a great thing for the Gunners and for the town of Newbury to have that kind of facility in our area.
Yeah, they're happy to show it off too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I will try to get in touch with them, and I thank you all very much, and have a great evening.
All right,
See
Leslie,
you.
thank you.
All right, we can also try to coordinate for you to go when Mary and Scott go, if you'd like, Leslie.
Oh, that would be great. Get back to me. I'm pretty flexible.
Okay, we'll let you know when that's happening.
Great. Thank you, Martha.
Don't forget me, Martha.
Who can forget you, Mary?
Never.
No, none of us can forget you, Mary, for crying out loud.
Leslie, I can't forget you either, honey.
You know what? I'll come and pick you up.
All right,
How's
that
it?
sounds good.
All righty.
Only in your Maserati.
We'll be talking, and I look forward to being able to, walk through the facility. It looked amazing from the outside. I can only imagine what it looks like from the inside. So thanks, everybody, and have a great evening.
Okay, good night.
Talk soon.
I didn't forget you, Mary. I think I just got it mumbled.
I have my hand raised. I have both hands raised. I have a third hand raised. All right, I'm done here.
All right. Well, that concludes our business. Would anyone care to make a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Scott. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. Note, any discussion? Hearing none. Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Woody, how do you vote?
Yes, and good night, everyone.
Night,
Mary,
Woody.
how do you vote?
Yes. And good
Scott,
night,
how do you vote?
guys.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So we're adjourned at 7:53 p.m. Thanks, everyone.